Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show that just inducted Kofi Kingston into the Hall of Fame. It is Lost in the Midcard, episode 5, fresh off of Fastlane on the WWE Network. I am your host, Jeremy, a.k.a. JB Huskers, at JB Huskers on Twitter. And along with me for the ride is our other host, Matt Black, at Raw F Showtime on Twitter. Matt, how we feeling tonight after that pay-per-view of Fastlane?
Well, I would definitely say the next 5 weeks, the quote-unquote Fastlane to Wrestlemania is going to be quite a bumpy ride indeed. Yeah,
I sent a tweet out. Well, I sent a lot of tweets out tonight, but one of my tweets I sent out tonight was the road to WrestleMania, or the Fastlane to WrestleMania is like how old people fuck, slow and sloppy. That was about how Fastlane, I think, pretty much turned out tonight. Especially that, mainly thanks to the crowd in Memphis. I mean, what a shitty crowd for a pay-per-view.
I mean, here's the crowd didn't help at all. I mean, let me get that out of the way. I thought it was one of the worst pay-per-view crowds in recent memory. But the problem is, I would say 90 to 95% of the problems on the show lied in the finish of the match.
Oh yeah.
You know, so many roll-ups, and not getting a finish in the Ambrose Barrett match, and they didn't give people a whole lot of reason to get up and cheer tonight. I don't know. The in-ring work in every match was good. But
even when they did give them a reason to cheer, they still didn't, in a lot of different areas. Especially, like, for example, Ambrose going on offense, crowd was dead. For the most part, outside of the initial pop, the crowd was dead for Bray Wyatt. And, a lot of, there's a lot of things you could blame the WWE on, but that crowd was terrible tonight regardless.
The problem is when you have a bad crowd like that, you amplify.
Mm-hmm.
You amplify any negative feelings that you have towards the show, in my opinion. I feel like the show should have been so much better. On paper, it seemed like, it was going to be amazing, but it just really didn't click tonight.
It definitely on paper it looked great because there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of questions, that we had, and as we had on the podcast last week with Trevor, I mean, a lot of us disagreed with a lot of the finishes and such. So we saw things go in a bunch of different ways, and typically that's a good thing for a pay-per-view. Unfortunately, overall, it didn't, but at least in the tail end of things, it did kick up a little bit with a couple of great matches to close the show. We'll get to those here in just a moment, but we'll go ahead and break down the Fastlane pay-per-view from Memphis, Tennessee tonight. We got in the pre-show, we got a little bit of Paul Heyman setting the table up for the main event tonight. More berating of Mizdow by the Miz. I almost thought that Mizdow was about going to turn on him on Miz TV on the pre-show tonight, as kind of a way to get people to watch the pre-show and say, "Oh, look what just happened on the pre-show."
Yeah, I think I really think at this point the Mizdow thing is being dragged out a little too long. And with every week that Sandow, Mizdow, whatever you want to call him, every week that he just sits there and takes this abuse and doesn't rebel and go against the Miz, I think it kills his credibility more and more week after week. That he's not going to stand up for himself and and break away from the Miz's control that he has over him.
Typically, we get a pretty hot Raw as the first Raw, with WrestleMania as the next big thing in our sights. So maybe we'll see that tomorrow on Raw. Otherwise, we got 5 weeks for it to build. I just hope it doesn't carry out to the last week before WrestleMania, because I hate feuds that. I mean, this is by no means just all of a sudden happening, because these guys have been together for 7-8 months. But yeah. I really hope something happens tomorrow night, because tomorrow night should be a hot show. We might see Taker. Who knows? But typically that first Raw with WrestleMania in sights is usually pretty good. So we'll have to see about that. Also in the pre-show, we got a pretty good interview and a pretty good promo between Dean Ambrose and Renee Young. Kind of interesting, since them two are boning each other, that she would be interviewing Dean Ambrose. But nonetheless, still a great interview. Just a great promo and a great way to set up the way how Ambrose wants to rebuild that Intercontinental title. We'll get into that match a little later, but I still thought that was a pretty good setup for the match later on.
It was good because Dean put over the importance and the history of the championship. And since WWE surely hasn't seemed like they've cared about it a whole lot lately, it's nice to see that they're positioning it to one of the talent actually cares enough about it to try to bring it back to what it used to be. Yeah,
and if anybody's a student of the game, it's Dean Ambrose. Plus, the fact nobody's ever mentioned that wall of champions at headquarters, and Ambrose did. Every Intercontinental Championship and every WWE champion is on a certain wall there at headquarters, and nobody's ever called that out. And so Ambrose is definitely taking a lot of different kind of angles to make this title get back to where it should be. So that's really cool. We kick off the pay-per-view itself with a 6-man tag team. Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, Ryback, the three guys that were part of the firing angle from John Cena. They take on Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane. Big Show and Kane, two of Matt's favorite wrestlers of all time. And we got, I don't know, man. This was
the match was fine.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it felt like a Raw match.
It did, and I fully expected this was going to be the match where Kane and Big Show cost the match again, and Ziggler and company would pick up the win. But instead, you take the guy that's most over on the opposite team, and you have him take the pinfall. When you got Eric Rowan right there, ready and able to do the job on every other show, and you let Ziggler take the fall.
Yeah, you don't need a Memphis crowd to have the little reactions that Rowan usually gets when he comes out to the ring. So, yeah, that definitely makes sense. And I think it's just more of Vince swinging his dick around saying, you guys love Ziggler. I'm going to get him pinned.
He knows what we want better than we do, JB.
I guess. I don't know. But I don't know if this leads to Big Show and Kane, as well as they work together, if they're going to try to go for the tag titles at some point. Who knows?
The title change tonight.
Well, I'm not saying exactly.
I'm just saying it would have made more sense if you wanted to go that route. It would have made more sense for the Usos to retain the titles tonight.
Yeah, well, I think down the line when Seth Rollins is holding that WWE World Heavyweight Championship, I think that might be when the Authority tries to go for all the gold. And at that point, maybe sends Big Show and Kane out to take out the Usos or Tyson and Cesaro. Whatever team has the belts at that point, I could probably see that happening once Rollins gets the title. After about 14 minutes of action, Kane gets a pinfall on Dolph Ziggler, and something none of us predicted. We all thought the faces were going to go over, especially with this match going on first. I figured, hey, let's get the crowd a little happy moment to start off the show.
Exactly.
Have the faces go first. But obviously that's not the case, so carry on. After the match, Randy Orton returns. Finally, he's been ready to return for quite some time.
Dan Viper returning with the RKO's out of nowhere, dog.
And, yeah, I mean, that was a pretty damn good moment. We all knew it was coming sooner or later. And
I've only been calling it for 4 months, so I'm happy it finally happened.
A broken clock's right twice a day, so.
Damn right. Don't you forget it.
And Orton started delivering RKOs like they were going out of style. I think he gave one to everybody but Rollins. Rollins, being the great heel that he is, sneaks out of the ring and avoids an ass whooping, as only Seth Rollins can do.
He got out of Dodge, brother.
Mm-hmm. So a great moment to see Orton back in the ring. He'd been out a good 4 months, I do believe, because he was out. He wasn't at Survivor Series. We were all thinking maybe he was the secret member of Team Cena. And then we think, oh, maybe December he'll come out, maybe Rumble he'll come out. Nope. He decides to come out at Fastlane, which may go down in history as the worst new pay-per-view ever.
I don't know, man. December to Dismember.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of hard to beat.
That is kind of a terrible.
At least we got a lot. Look, at least the finishes tonight, for the most part, might have sucked. We might not have agreed with a lot of the stuff that happened, but from bell to bell, at least we got a lot of good wrestling tonight, which we surely didn't get on December to Dismember.
Yeah, that's true. We get cut to the locker room after the RKO Fest. We cut to the locker room. Great little promo with Dusty Rhodes and Goldust. I thought it was a great way to set up the match. Both guys they know how to tell a story, obviously, with all the experiences that they've had in the ring, and definitely a great start or a great setup for this match tonight between Gold and Stardust. Stardust coming out with no shirt, so kind of mixing up the look a little bit. I mean, I don't think you could confuse him for Goldust, but maybe they just wanted to differentiate them a little bit. Very kind of a shortish match. A lot of psychology in the match. A lot of nothing. They didn't quite put the pedal to the metal in the Fastlane, Matt.
I was on it. I was super disappointed by the finish because my whole vision for this feud was that Stardust was going to beat Goldust, and Goldust was going to be desperate, to get Cody back, and I got to have a rematch. I got to fight you again at WrestleMania. I need to beat you, and I need to beat Stardust. And Stardust would have been like, you want to fight me again? You want to fight me at WrestleMania? Put your career on the line. So I can end you once and for all. And Goldust would have agreed, and we would have had Goldust versus Stardust at WrestleMania with Goldust's career on the line. But now with Goldust already winning, it kind of just takes away the potential of what could have been a really cool storyline between the two going into WrestleMania. To me, the backstage beatdown afterwards to keep this feud going really didn't do anything for me. I was just like, whatever.
I thought it was the best part of the whole night between these, with just this part of the match itself. I thought the match was it was pretty good, but that Memphis crowd kind of sucked all the air out of it, so it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to really get into it. But I thought I liked the match. I thought it was okay. The finish was a little, definitely weak, which is a trend for tonight. But the backstage segment with Dusty back there and kind of setting things up, I still think that was pretty good. And then it's going to set up, hopefully, a better feud, because this was kind of a building type of feud, and it didn't really boil over until about a week ago. Both the teams have been losing so much that the crowd, that's part of the reason why they maybe didn't care, because they were losing so much lately. And I think now that we get a bigger build with these 5 weeks leading up to WrestleMania, I think we could maybe get that WrestleMania match where the crowd is going to be invested in it, and we get a good story, and we get a good payoff, and then probably a good send-off for Goldust.
I don't know. They had the perfect opportunity to do the whole "if I lose, I'll retire" story, and they kind of threw that out the window tonight, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I guess they could still do it, but I don't think it's going to mean as much now. I don't think the emotional investment will be there that could have been.
Well, I honestly don't think Goldust needs to retire unless he really wants to.
I don't think so either. I would have envisioned Stardust winning tonight and Goldust beating him at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean it that Goldust would put his career on the line and lose. But I thought, they could have done a really cool thing between the two of them, but they just, I don't know, they just didn't do it. WWE's not doing a lot of things that they should be doing lately.
That's true. We'll have to see if there is a better end game coming up for us at WrestleMania. Next up, we have the tag team titles on the line. The Usos against Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. And I'm sorry, but the whole cats and facts things on the boots, that has to go, man. How can you take someone... I mean, it's kind of funny, but how can you take someone seriously with fucking cat paw prints on the back of your boots and the word cats on your boots?
I don't know, man. That's supposed to be the whole gimmick. It's
stupid. You can't take anybody seriously like that. Thankfully, they're a good team, so we can maybe get over that. But the fact thing's cool. But seriously, the cats thing on there, just completely stupid. But hey, Natalya looked like a good Catwoman tonight, though, hey?
Yeah, she looked good.
We got a typical good match between these four guys. It wasn't a surprise that we got a solid match. Maybe could have went a little longer, but these guys definitely put on a good show for the tag team titles, and Kidd and Cesaro are your new tag team champions. And do you think the right team went over here, Matt?
I don't mind the title change at all, but I mean, if you look at the last month, how these guys have beaten the Usos in practically every match these guys have had, whether it's been a singles match or a tag match, for them to go in and win the titles after that makes the Usos look pretty weak. In my opinion, anyway. I don't think they did the Usos any favors tonight. If you look at the way that this match was handled.
Yeah, it's hard telling, though. Because Kidd and Cesaro have been an impressive team, and I think the tag team division needs a good feud of two teams that will last more than just a couple months. Obviously, you got some other teams hanging around there with the Ascension. Maybe the primetime players come back. Who knows? But right now, this is your best bet for a good tag team match right now with these four guys. So I wouldn't mind if they, just keep it going.
Well, I could tell if they wanted to do a four-way tag match at Mania again, they could do these two guys and throw the Ascension and the primetime players in there and call it a day.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that happens. They seem to like to do that at WrestleMania, but I'd rather have just these guys again. We'll have to see how that plays out. But the in-ring action was pretty damn good with these guys, and so we'll definitely see more once the Usos will cash in their rematch clause. We get Triple H and Sting next. Triple H comes out in his I'm ready for a street fight gear. His jacket, taped up arm, taped up fists, little growl, a little water bottle, little water spitting. I think a new T-shirt that you can buy at WWEshop.com.
Sell it.
Yeah, it's cheap pop. Sting comes out and
did exactly what I said he was going to do on our Fastlane prediction show last week.
Yeah. I was basically hoping Sting would talk because I was kind of just wanting him to do so. But Triple H goes on for quite a while talking while Sting just stands there and looks at him. And finally they start to get a little physical. Triple H rolls out of the ring to pull out the sledgehammer, and then, lo and behold, out of nowhere, Sting pulls out the baseball bat and sticks it right in Hunter's throat, points to the WrestleMania sign, and basically says, "Boy, we're going to go." And Triple H, he accepted. So we have it official now. Triple H and Sting at WrestleMania 31. As Sting turned his back, Hunter tried a little cheap shot, and he got a nice little baseball bat in the gut for his troubles. So we're going to have the bat and the sledgehammer in 5 weeks at WrestleMania. We also got a little Scorpion Death Drop to send Triple H away. What did you think of that overall? Obviously you picked it, how it was going to go down, but did you think it delivered? Do you think it set up well for the WrestleMania match?
Yeah, I thought it set up well. We still have 5 weeks to hear Sting talk, and he's going to talk before Mania. I honestly like the fact of how much Triple H sold for Sting. Like, Triple H sold for Sting like he was... Man, I guess you could use the comparison to, like, Hulk Hogan. Or something like that. Like, Triple H put Sting over, like, $1 million tonight. Based on the reactions and how he sold things that Sting did, and how he made the baseball bat and everything seem like the most deadly weapon of all time. Mm-hmm. You know, Triple H, you say what you want about Triple H, but that man knows how to build something, and he knows how to put somebody over that might not be in the forefront of the current WWE fans' generation's minds, and show you that this dude's really freaking important because he's doing this to me. Mm-hmm. And I thought it went really well. I think it's going to be great. I think Sting and Triple H will have an amazing match at WrestleMania in a few weeks. I really do.
Yeah, we all know Sting is a big attraction, something we've never seen ever before in WWE. But now we're to the point where Triple H is a big attraction too, because he just doesn't get in the ring as often. He's slowed down, rightfully so, as he's now taken over more of a role in the offices at WWE. But it's still a great attraction to see Triple H in the ring and wrestling, and we haven't seen that since May when Evolution went against the Shield there. So it's definitely gonna be special. And like you said, Triple H sells for Sting. It's gonna make Sting look good, and Sting's gonna get his ass beat for probably quite a long time in that match, and then come back, and it's going to be entertaining, and for wrestling fans like us that have been watching for a long time, for those that were watching that blonde flat top with face paint in the late 80s on Saturday nights at 5:05, it's going to be a treat.
6:05, brother.
Oh yeah, you're in that Eastern time zone.
Yes, Eastern time, 6:05.
It was always a treat, and so and it's all come full circle. And I like the backstory too, where it's Triple H is putting it over as Sting's trying to kill the WWE, as a revenge for back in 2001. It makes sense.
Which was why I was glad they didn't have Sting tonight talk. Because when Sting finally talks, he's going to have to explain that this isn't about him coming in to try to kill the WWE. It's about him coming in trying to save the WWE from the authority. You don't do a storyline like that on a pay-per-view, even with the network being free. You have a promo like that on Raw, so everybody hears Sting's motives and why he's doing what he's doing. Sting isn't coming in to kill the WWE. I mean, that would automatically make Triple H the face in this equation, and it's obviously he's not the face here.
But you've got it all wrong here, Matt. Sting is coming to the WWE to promote TNA.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate, sir. I don't think that's accurate at all.
Oh, come on. That's his main goal. Dixie Carter's going to take over WWE.
And I should fire you from this show right now.
Well, that'll put butts in the seats.
Dude, I thought Vince Russo's booking was bad. What are you doing over there?
Viagra on a pole.
I think you had one too many beers during Fastlane tonight.
No, I'm completely sober tonight.
That's even scarier.
Yeah. Obviously, I am saying that tongue-in-cheek, but anyways. That would still be great. Terrible television.
I was hoping you were saying it tongue-in-cheek.
I was under the Kayfabe News Twitter account right there is what I was doing. Intercontinental Championship time. This one I was excited for. Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose, two guys that I'm big fans of in the WWE. I don't know. I think they're saving it for WrestleMania. I mean, this was really short.
It really made Barrett look like a coward.
Yeah, he was running away from Ambrose. I mean, he had some good offense, but like in the end, yeah, he kind of realized, well, I ain't gonna get Ambrose on this night. I'm gonna take my title and get the count out and keep my belt. And this was the beginning of the back-to-back shitty endings to a match where.
And it sucks because I really like both guys.
Well, here's the thing: 99% of the time, the ref counts 1, 2, and then stops, whatever, tries to pull him off of him. He doesn't go back to the count. He goes back to 1. But Kyoto did. He went 3, 4, 5. You're out. You're done. And
yeah, it was a pretty bad finish.
Yeah, that's not like.
It even seemed like the commentators were confused.
Yeah, the ref. That's just something the ref doesn't do normally. He'll break it up and then restart his count, and then hey, the match keeps going. But he continued the count and disqualified Ambrose. I mean, I guess in some ways you got to get some more mileage out of the story, and continue it into WrestleMania. But there's better ways to be able to do that. But obviously, Ambrose gets a nice attack on Barrett to finish it off, hits the Dirty Deeds, and then steals the IC title. So I think Ambrose stealing the IC title will kind of lead to some pretty entertaining segments, at least.
Yeah, I did call last week that Ambrose would walk out of Fastlane with the Intercontinental Championship.
But
so
you're gonna be marked with a wrong on
but
the
he totally
prediction.
Did.
So
he did.
You're still gonna be marked with a wrong.
I'm right. Damn it.
I'm the teacher here.
You
so
listen to me, pal.
I'm grading your paper, Vince, and you're getting a big F on that paper.
I did everything right tonight. Everything was awesome.
Especially pinning Ziggler. Yeah, the internet's going to hate me for that.
I bury Ziggler. I bury Daniel Bryan. And I'll throw them together and put them in the opening contest of WrestleMania.
We don't need a buried alive match to bury Dolph Ziggler. That's for sure.
We're doing it.
Oh, all right. Let's get to some familiar chanting, a little monk music, and we got some druids coming out with some torches. Oh, do we have the Undertaker? We got a casket coming out.
Memphis didn't deserve the Undertaker.
No shit. Now, did you call it like I called it on Twitter? Did you think it was Bray the whole time?
I knew it was Bray the whole time.
Yeah.
There was no way. I sent out a tweet. I was just like, I hope this is Bray Wyatt because Memphis doesn't deserve the Undertaker. Because I didn't even think for 1 second that Taker was going to be
most of Twitter thought it was the Taker, but I'm like, no. I mean, for one, Bray has never directly said, hey, I'm talking to the Undertaker with my promos. We know the smarks out there know who he's talking to, but he never made it really specific yet. And then sitting up in the casket, though, that was a pretty damn good visual. Opening the casket, and there's Bray Wyatt. That was a great visual. That actually woke the Memphis crowd up for about a second, and then they fell back to sleep. That was
about it.
I said on Twitter, on one of my many tweets, I think NyQuil handed out samples to the crowd as they were coming into the arena.
Yeah, I wasn't on Twitter a whole lot tonight like I usually was. I was at a party with some friends watching the show. But
were you out there with Robbie E. and Spectacular Jesse?
I would rather not ever have a party with those guys.
Oh, come on. Great promo. I loved it when Bray Wyatt said, I am the new face of fear. Fuck yeah.
Kevin Sullivan was upset.
Yeah, he might have been.
He was throwing shit in his room.
I wonder if he's upset that the Tree of Woe is being used a lot more in the WWE now.
Probably.
I love the Tree of Woe, though. It's such a great...
It's good stuff.
So we are probably going to find maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. You almost got to think Taker comes out tomorrow, don't you think?
I don't know if they I don't know if they do it immediately.
They can't wait 8 or 15 days, can they?
If it was me, I wouldn't bring him out tomorrow. I'd bring him out next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. So
I don't know. I'd like to see a longer build with both of these guys because these guys are.
Well, you bring them out next week. There's still 4 weeks till Mania.
True, but I mean, you got one of the most unique characters of all time in the WWE, and then you've got the guy that has basically been one of the most unique characters present day in the WWE, and just so many things that you can do with these guys. I could see maybe Wyatt talking on Monday and nothing happens, and then he's begging for Taker the next week, and then that's when he finally comes out. So maybe in 8 days I can see it. I just don't wait any longer than 8 days, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be much longer than that. I mean, you might even get a Taker response tomorrow night, almost like the Stain I Accept thing from a few weeks ago. But,
a little lightning in the ring.
Yeah, or some kind of special effects type deal. But I don't think we'll actually see the Undertaker on TV tomorrow.
It'd be kind of badass if, even though as cheesy as it is, lightning hits the ring and it actually hits Bray Wyatt.
That would be ridiculous. It would still probably be better than the exploded TV that Ambrose got last year.
If Vince Russo was still writing the show, it would be lightning striking. But anyways, the United States title on the line, Rusev against John Cena. So funny to say the United States title was on the line. Great match, though.
It really was.
These guys, I mean, this is Rusev's first major feud in the WWE. After almost a year of squashing people, this is his first major feud, top line feud, co-main event, if you could call it.
Oh, I would call it a co-main event.
Yeah,
I would definitely think. I think both matches were very important, and I could have seen both matches closing the show. But I was happy what closed the show did. But I really couldn't have argued too much if they would have closed it with Rusev and Cena. I couldn't have really argued that, especially with the way the main event finished.
Yeah, one criticism of Rusev that Jim Ross has been saying on his podcast is he's not doing enough heel things. And, well, that got to whoever as Lana got in the ring. And you don't really see Lana get involved that much lately, and she actually got in the ring to distract the referee, and Rusev kicked right in the old you can't see me family jewels, and that enabled him to slap on the accolade again. And at this point, apparently, if you get kicked in the balls hard enough, you pass out in the accolade. So, but we had about 20 minutes of a great match between these guys, though. So. Rusev passed his first test as a main event status, I think.
And I'm telling you, it's time to do the tag match.
Brother.
Yeah, I'm telling you, brother. Dude, did you see Hogan was in the WrestleMania trailer tonight? And nobody else that's not on the current roster was in that trailer but Hogan. Why was Hogan in that trailer? I'm telling you, Hogan and Cena against Rusev, and you called Sheamus. I love it. Book it. Needs to happen. Sheamus does the job. Rusev gets away clean. Telling you, man, it's money. That's money right there.
If a WWE writer is listening to our show, show yourselves now, and please let us know so we can give you an address to send the check.
Dude,
please.
I don't even want a check. Take my idea free of charge.
Okay, well, take me to WrestleMania.
And allow me to enjoy WrestleMania all the more with a match like that.
I still want to check. Vince has got enough money.
Well, I mean, I'll never turn down money.
Hey.
But I'm just saying, you don't even have to pay me for that idea. I would happily
Millions of dollars.
let WWE
Millions
steal
of dollars.
that idea
Millions
for
of dollars.
free.
Millions of dollars. Money. Yeah.
You did not just do Crime Time.
I just did. That team should never have been broken up, just like the primetime players.
Oh, that's true.
So, but damn, did you notice how wrenched back Cena's arms were? It looked like he was armless. That was ow. It's like you took your, how you played around with your He-Man toys too much, and their arms pop off. It kind of looked like that.
The funniest thing, me and my friends were talking about it. The main event, well, not the main event, the main part of the finish of the match when he had the Accolade on for the second time, and Cena's face looked like it was turning Keller's, and he was obviously out, and Charles Robinson's just staring. Like, he's like, call for the bell. The dude is out. Are you just going to let him die in the Accolade before you end this match?
He probably thought, wait a second, this can't be right. Cena's jobbing to Rusev? He had to probably think about it twice.
It was interesting, for sure.
This isn't in the typical script for Cena. What? I need to ring the bell? Okay. But anyways, we'll have to... obviously, I think the kick in the nuts will probably continue that feud, and we'll see where that goes. And it's been a great feud, though, so far. So.
Oh, absolutely. No argument there.
My fear is that Cena goes over at WrestleMania, just like he did against Bray Wyatt. But, hopefully you're right, maybe, or hopefully I'm right, where I'm thinking Rusev actually wins clean.
My fear, if they go at it again one-on-one, Cena's going over.
Yeah,
and that worries me. You just made somebody in Rusev tonight. You don't need to let it be a one and done and have him lose at WrestleMania. And this could be a great way to do it and not hurt Rusev in the process, and everybody wins. I hope they do. That's all I can hope for at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Here we go to the main event of the night, the number one contender match between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. The winner gets to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. We thought Rusev and Cena. We didn't think that. I don't know about you, but at this point, I didn't think Rusev and Cena could be topped. But did you think kind of that going into the match that Rusev and Cena could be topped at this point or not?
I really liked Rusev and Cena. I really liked the tag title match.
Mm-hmm. Going into the match, did you think this would be the match of the night, though, after everything that happened at Fastlane?
I didn't know if it could be, but I definitely wanted it to be.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I was really hoping for the main event to be the match of the night.
Yeah, I honestly did not think this would end up being match of the night, and then it turned into match of the night for sure. It was a great main event. There's a lot of heel tendencies from Bryan that kind of just showed how there was some true hatred between these guys leading up to this match. Some great wrestling by Daniel Bryan, and then just some great counter work by Roman Reigns by displaying his power. I mean, that kick out of the surfboard attempt, that was pretty badass to see Daniel Bryan just go flying like that when he tried to put the surfboard on Reigns.
Yeah, I thought the match was really good. I know I saw some people saying they didn't think that Roman and Bryan worked well together, but I disagree.
Oh, yeah, tonight
I thought they worked really well together. I really enjoyed the match. My only issue with it is I knew the finish. It was so obvious. When he finally hit the spin kick and he went back into the corner and he was setting up for the running knee again. I looked at everybody in the room and I'm like, he's gonna go for the running knee. Roman's gonna spear him in midair and the match is over. And that's exactly what happened.
I honestly thought at that point in the match, I had that in the back of my mind, but I thought Bryan was going to hit him with a spear.
Well, there was a couple
to rub it in his face.
There was a couple times tonight where they could have ended this match in a no contest, like I called for, and could have made WrestleMania, in my opinion, 10 times more interesting. But they didn't. So my only hope right now is that they re-sign Brock Lesnar. Because I don't want to go into this match already knowing who's going to win.
Yeah.
And if it would have been a triple threat, and let's say they didn't get Brock re-signed, there was still a part of me that could have said, you know what, maybe Bryan can win this triple threat match. But now with the way it's looked right now, it's Reigns is leaving WrestleMania with the title unless Rollins cashes in on him afterwards. And my main issue with it is I hate my main events, especially at a WrestleMania, to be so predictable. Like, I need to hear within the next couple weeks that Brock has signed a new deal with WWE, and I will feel 10 times better about this main event, knowing that Brock's still going to be around afterwards, because it leaves a little doubt in your mind that Brock could beat Roman and retain.
Well, the point was made, I can't remember who the guest was on the Steve Austin show about 1 or 2 months ago, but, I mean, the point was made that the WWE at times is purposely predictable ever since they become a publicly traded company, which is stupid, but they're playing it safe way too much, and that's why a lot of us guys can predict what we think may happen. And when those two guys were on the outside and they were at 8, I think both of us are probably in agreement. Fuck you, Memphis crowd. We're going to end this with a double count out.
I'd have been cool with it.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, I bet you a lot of people in that crowd would have been cool with it too.
Give the shitty crowd a shitty finish. Why not?
Yeah, but I mean, it would have been a shitty finish that would have led to a triple threat at WrestleMania, or they could have even gone the WrestleMania 10 route, where they could have done like one of the matches in the middle, and the winner of that match faces the other guy at the end. You know, when they had Brett Luger and Yoko at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
They could have done something like that. You know, just give my main worry right now, and I think it's a legitimate concern, is I don't think that the crowd fully accepted Reigns' win tonight. I mean, even when Bryan tried to give him the rub and he poked him on the chest and said, "You better beat his ass," and they shook hands, the entire crowd booed.
Yeah.
And that crowd, for the most part, was dead all night. So the fact that they booed that spot says that didn't work. They tried to have Daniel Bryan give the rub to Roman Reigns, and it didn't work.
And that's exactly how I predicted it how it would happen.
And that's my main worry. You've got 5 weeks now between now and WrestleMania, and you go into WrestleMania with arguably the smartest fans from all around the world that gather in one place every year. And I guarantee you, most of that crowd is not going to be happy that we're getting Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
Well, they may not be happy, but at least they'll probably be happy on Raw when Seth Rollins comes out for his speech when he's holding the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So,
see,
there's never been a cash-in at WrestleMania. I think it's going to happen regardless. I think regardless of Brock re-signing or not, I think regardless, it's going to be a Seth Rollins cash-in.
I think it would go over better with him cashing in on Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean,
because you know what, you want to kill somebody. Let them win the title at WrestleMania and have him drop it 90 seconds a la Yokozuna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I even at this point, I don't know if WWE should announce that they've re-signed him or not. I think they should just keep quiet for storyline's sake, but I don't know if they will do that.
No, absolutely, absolutely not.
It will get out.
If you re-sign him, that needs to be shouted from the mountaintops that Brock Lesnar is re-signed with WWE.
Yeah.
That everybody has to know. And you have to create the potential that Brock could walk out of WrestleMania with the championship. My main issue with the Rollins cash-in is I really can't imagine / fathom a WrestleMania ending with a heel cashing in Money in the Bank and leaving with the championship.
We don't need to get a good happy story at the end of every WrestleMania, though.
No, and we know, and look, we haven't every year, but I don't know, man. I don't see them doing that. I think it would have worked better had they turned Reigns heel at the Rumble and slowly turned Rollins back to face by WrestleMania. So when the Authority helped Roman beat Brock, that Seth could have cashed in on Roman and ruined everybody's moment. And I think that could have made a really good finish to WrestleMania. Here's a question for you. Let's say Rollins does cash in, And at the same token, that means Brock and Roman don't close the show. You close the show with Sting and Triple H?
You might anyways, just because of the magnitude of the fact that Sting's wrestling in a WWE match.
See, I think you could get away with a cash-in in the middle of the show.
Then have Sting close the show on top.
And have Sting close the show by beating Triple H.
I mean, there's no doubt that Sting's going to beat Triple H. There's no reason for Triple H to win, and so that that could close the show. You're right.
You know what they should do. Here's me fantasy booking again, brother. But
fantasy booking.
Hey, I've been batting 1,000 lately. You haven't hated one of my ideas yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can hate this one, but I don't know. I think you're gonna like it. Hear me out before you interrupt me. Sting beats Triple H. Undertaker beats Bray Wyatt. Next night on Raw, you get the face-off that we've been waiting 2 decades for between Sting and the Undertaker, and they set up Sting versus the Undertaker for WrestleMania in Dallas, and they both go into the Hall of Fame next year, and they both retire after that match.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that was going to be the path of it anyways, it's all leading up to Sting and Taker at WrestleMania.
Do you think the reason why they decided to put that match off a year instead of doing it this year is because they thought they needed that match to sell out AT&T Stadium next year?
Not necessarily. Taker's from Texas, so I think having him be the headliner of the Hall of Fame class and having his last match in Texas, I think, is the main reason to hold that off a year.
Well, Sting lives in Texas, too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he lives in, I believe he lives in Houston.
So there you go.
So, I mean, both of those guys going into the Hall of Fame, retiring together, and it's really a dream match. And who cares if the match is amazing and has a 5-star, work rate rating? The story that those two will be able to tell in the build-up to that match, I think, can sell out that stadium. I really do.
Yeah, I thought all along that the plan was to have Sting Taker, and I was kind of more like hoping, not really guessing, but just hoping, and that way we would maybe get Sting to have a couple more matches in the WWE over the course of the year, leading up to the finale with the Taker.
Maybe over SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm hoping for maybe 2 matches in between SummerSlam, maybe Survivor Series, maybe Rumble. I don't know, but I'd like to see Sting, wrestle a couple more than just twice. So we'll have to see if that is going to play out the way it is. It almost makes sense that that's the way it's going to play out with the fact that WrestleMania 32 is going to be in Texas. And then I guess is WWE just dropping the numbers of WrestleMania for this year's logo didn't have a number on it.
Yeah, next year's logo doesn't have a number either. Where the little play symbol is, next year's the Dallas Cowboy star.
Yeah, so
they might just be dropping the whole number thing, which I find to be weird. But I mean, who am I to tell them what to do? So
yeah, they don't want to remind us how long it's been around or something. I don't know.
Which is kind of silly. I think it makes it more important to know how long they've been around.
Yeah, you don't see the Super Bowl dropping their number from the title, so. Let's go. Let's change some gears. We got some surprising breaking news from about 5 days ago. Samoa Joe decides to part ways with Impact Wrestling. He announced it via Twitter on the 17th of February. And Samoa Joe, he's been in the business for about 8 or 9 years. Been one of their best wrestlers. A great X Division champion. A great world champion. He's mainly known for his X Division work, even though he was a bigger, beefier guy. Extremely agile and definitely a badass-looking dude. And he was in one of the main factions with the Beatdown Clan. And so it'll be interesting to see who they replace him with, or they just throw in Eric Young. But I mean, he was more like the enforcer of the Beatdown Clan, so you got to kind of have someone a little more imposing than Eric Young to maybe replace him with. But Matt, what direction do you think Samoa Joe goes? Do you think he just, the Indies you're making a lot more money in the Indies than you ever have, but there's also, will the WWE give him a shot even?
Well, the greedy part of me wants him to be signed to NXT and make that roster even more awesome than it already is. I mean, Joe was in the WWE in the late 90s, 2000 for a cup of coffee. And then he had the stint in Ring of Honor for 5 years from 2002 to 2008, 2007 it was one of those. And then he was in TNA for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the guy's had a long career. I think he's like 35 or 36 years old now.
I think 35.
Yeah. I last year, I don't know how many people remember this, but there was a period over 3 days last year, I think it was over the summertime, that Triple H was following Samoa Joe on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. It was like a secret.
Yeah, and everybody's like, why is Triple H following Samoa Joe? That's really weird. And he was following him for like 3 days, and then he unfollowed. So
they could send a direct message back and forth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe Joe decided when his contract ran out this time that, maybe Triple H is going to take a look at him, bring him down to NXT. And, honestly, coming to NXT is no longer a punishment for people.
No, it's development
It's no longer development. It's like a freaking alternative brand.
And it's so fun. It's the wrestlers have so much fun there because the crowd is smart, knowledgeable, and energetic for the most part. I mean, there's sometimes where the crowd doesn't look like they're pumped up just because they tape 4 shows in a row. So by the 4th time that you see Hideo Itami walking out, you may not be as excited, but at the same time, they still, for that fact that they tape 4 shows in a row, the crowd mostly delivers on being a good crowd. It's something Memphis should have took note of tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Samoa Joe in NXT would be phenomenal. I mean, there's so many matchups in there, and of course, Joe's got a lot of history from his independent days, especially with maybe guys like Daniel Bryan. It'd be a treat. Did he ever face Seth Rollins when he was Tyler Black?
Ooh.
Do we have a Joe and Tyler Black match?
I honestly don't remember. I don't think so.
See, that's another.
That's something. That's something I would have to look up. I can't.
That's another dream indie match that we we had Finn Balor is going to be facing Kevin Owens. You're going to have we've already had quite a few of them already with Hideo Itami taking on Finn Balor in that title number 1 contenders tournament, and these dream matchups can just the number of ways. Or number of dream matchups to have is going to exponentially grow if you add Joe to that roster.
Now, apparently, I'm actually looking it up. So, apparently, Joe made a one-night return to Ring of Honor in 2008 to fight Tyler Black in a non-pay-per-view main event. So apparently, they did face each other back in 2008. Joe came in like a one-time deal, I guess, or something like that. So yeah, it's happened, but heck, I'd love to see it happen again. When push comes to shove, though, if you had to put a gun to my head and I had to be right about what Joe's going to do, I think he's going to go the AJ Styles route. I think he's going to join the Bullet Club in New Japan, and I think he's going to work Ring of Honor.
That wouldn't be surprising either. I wouldn't mind him seeing him work a little Lucha Underground either. Just you got a guy Lucha Underground. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. I've actually been kind of catching up with it quite a bit. I love it, and you got Ezekiel Jackson's in there as Big Rick, so you got a couple of you got your big badass heel, and maybe you can have a big badass face to kind of go along with it if there's any kind of feuding that goes on with a guy like Big Rick. I think that would be kind of a good fit.
I just want him to be on a stage where a lot of people can see him.
Yeah, because you can. I'm assuming like Del Rio is doing both Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground now, or is he just doing Lucha Underground?
That's a good question.
I wanted to think he was doing both.
I'd like to think he's doing both, but I'm honestly not sure if that's allowed. So
it's hard telling. I mean TNA allows. It gets kind of weird. Obviously, people don't do all that with the WWE, but you know, a lot of the independent guys got to make a paycheck, so they are able to work for a bunch of different promotions. So it'd be interesting to see.
I mean, if I had a choice, I'd want Joe to go to NXT. But I think he's going to go the AJ Styles route, which definitely didn't hurt AJ Styles last year. I thought he had one of the best years of his career in 2014 after leaving TNA. So,
and just take a look at a wrestling arena, even in the WWE now. You'll see a Bullet Club shirt somewhere in the audience. Yep. So, probably the best faction since NWO would be the Bullet Club, and that would definitely be kind of cool too, especially if they continue to roll on with these pay-per-views, have a little American distribution with Matt Stryker and Jim Ross calling the action again. So we'll have to see how that turns out. He's definitely one of the hot free agents now. And then let's turn to the legal side of things. Earlier this week, it was broken out that the head doctor for the WWE, Chris Amman, is filing a defamation lawsuit of $1 million against CM Punk and Colt Cabana for their comments that they made on Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling podcast late last year. Basically, Punk had ripped Amman for misdiagnosing things that he claimed could have killed him, and basically the WWE kind of came back firing with a lot of different things. Especially saying, for example, there's clear video evidence from last year's Royal Rumble that you can definitely see there's no baseball-sized growth on the back of CM Punk. Punk never discussed any of these conditions with the trainers.
Which I don't believe at all.
I was just going to ask you, which side of the fence are you on here? Are you on the WWE side or Punk side?
See, I don't know if this is... I know WWE is supporting and backing their doctor in this lawsuit, but I don't think this is a WWE lawsuit. I think this is something that the doctor's doing on his own. I think it's a very dangerous slope, and I think this guy needs to remember that Punk's lawyers took WWE through the renters last year, and he was able to beat WWE's lawyers. So I think this guy might be in for a bigger fight than he anticipated. And if you go back and you listen to Punk on the Art of Wrestling podcast from last year, Punk clearly states that the growth is underneath the waistband of his trunks. So, yes, you would not be able to see it in any view on the pay-per-view or anything because it's underneath his tights, and it's rubbing against his tights the entire match. So, I mean, he even there's a video from Opie and Anthony. I think it was from either really late this year or really late last year or really early this year, where he actually stands up and pulls down his pants and shows them the baseball-sized black and blue scar tissue from the staph infection on basically on the top of his ass. Mm-hmm. So it's there. And I think the main thing it's going to come down to is how quickly Punk went to see AJ's doctor after he left the company. I think that's going to have a lot to do with everything. I think the quicker he went and saw the doctor after leaving WWE, the better his case is, and the less WWE has.
Well, I mean, you would think that the WWE has a lot of records and documentation, and I mean, like you said, if it was Amman just doing this on his own, which I don't know if the WWE would, I guess he could do it behind their back, but
WWE at the end of the day is going to support their employee.
Yeah,
obviously they have no love lost with Punk either, so they're going to support their doctor and try to, back him up in whatever he chooses to do.
I just think there's documentation. There's got to be documentation that's either going to point one way or the other, and there's got to be records that the WWE has to keep, and if there's some holes in those, then they might be up shit creek. So I don't know who to really believe at this point. Punk can be known for being outrageous, so it's tough to tell.
It's honestly, I think it's a situation that WWE really didn't want to find themselves in right now, especially if Punk and Cabana countersue this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's certainly in the realm of possibility, especially if they think they have a strong enough case against this guy, and they countersue him. I mean, it's going to look really bad on WWE.
Mm.
So I don't know, man. It's a really sticky, messy situation, and I'm not really looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better.
It really is.
Let's shift gears to NXT over this past week. Fresh off of NXT TakeOver Rival from the week before, we lead off the match with Kevin Owens. Before that, actually, we had William Regal announce that in the NXT rulebook, the rules that aren't published anywhere, so we just have to believe them, right? They allow for a title change via ref stoppage. That was kind of just their way to saying, "Hey, it's in the rule book," but I don't.
No, honestly, I think a title should change hands via ref stoppppage. I mean, that's
TKO.
UFC does the same thing.
Yeah, it's a TKO.
Yeah,
it was like that. It's like that in boxing too. So I had no beef with it. But it is what it is, and I still thought it was a great message that it was sent for Kevin Steen, that he just doesn't give a shit, and we're going to pound the hell out of Sami Zayn to the point where they do have to stop the match. And so basically, KO, Kevin Owens, talks about how he doesn't give a shit about what the people think about how he won the match, and that that Finn Balor's gonna meet that same fate that Sami Zayn did. And after that, we got a jobber in the ring, and holy shit, look who comes into NXT but Rhino from ECW.
The rookie monster Rhino.
The crowd
lost their shit.
Go back and watch. The camera was in the most perfect spot. It was kind of like high side behind where the regular announcers would be for like a Raw. It was staring right at the ramp, but you could see the crowd on the left side of the ring, and they legitimately had no clue Rhino was coming out, because they completely had a nice surprise reaction. That was pretty badass. A lot of ECW chants. I think we got some holy shit chants on that one too, didn't we?
He definitely got the holy shit chant when he got into the ring.
Yeah, and and kudos to the WWE Network for not bleeping those out. They could very easily manipulate that somehow, but I like how they keep those in there for the true essence of the moment. And no surprise, Rhino defeats Elias Samson, who's just a enhancement talent, to nicely put it.
Yeah.
It only took about a minute. Obviously, Rhino not in great shape, but a great character.
I don't know, dude. I thought he looked just as good as he did 10 years ago.
You think so? Why would he wear a T-shirt then?
Dude, Rhino's always been that big.
That's true. I don't know.
It looked like to me like
he's getting older though.
Looked like he was coming out repping his Pro Wrestling Tees merch or wherever the heck he got that shirt from. I don't know. I thought he looked to be in great shape for 2015.
So what did you think of the little interruption of the Finn Balor interview by Rhino?
I want to see it. I totally want to see Finn Balor and Rhino.
Rhino had this
tear that damn off Full Sail Stadium or arena or
Rhino just had this weird look on his. Rhino just had this weird look on his face, like he walked by the woman that was interviewing, walked by those two and like let a big fart out or something. He had that kind of look on his face.
I don't know. I thought it was great. I loved the tease there. I think I would love to see Balor and Rhino lock it up. So
yeah, definitely. And we're going to get another former. We won't spoil it for you on this show, but there is another former wrestler in the WWE that's going to make an NXT arrival pretty soon as well, that I'm pretty excited for myself. We'll have to see when that airs, but it's good to see that old veterans that have been at the top of the mountain want to be in NXT, like Rhino.
Yeah,
I think it's it's now just not just a rookie camp. It's a way to revitalize your career. And it's also a way for these older guys to kind of give back and teach the younger guys a thing or two as well. And I think that's probably the number one reason why a lot of these guys are coming back, is for kind of that teaching moment and evolving the business for the younger guys.
And plus, Regal, they had an NXT video with Regal after the show last Wednesday night, where he announced that next week, Brian Kendrick is coming to NXT.
Well, that was the thing I didn't want to spoil, but if it's already been out, then I didn't see that video.
Nope, there's a video on WWE's YouTube channel with Regal explaining why Rhino has come to NXT, and he reveals at the end of the video that Brian Kendrick was coming to NXT next week. So
yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think Brian Kendrick's solo gimmick was kind of almost ahead of its time, and that's why it didn't quite get over as much. And I think wasn't that was kind of the debut of Ezekiel Jackson too, wasn't it? He was his heavy at the beginning of the
I think that was his debut.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see Brian Kendrick is without a doubt a great wrestling talent, and I'm excited to see what he brings for NXT coming up here. We get a tag team match. I'm sorry, not for the titles, because neither one of these teams has the titles. But Enzo Amore and Big Cass fight the Vaudevillains. I thought honestly this would be another kind of a stepping stone for the Vaudevillains to get back in the title picture, but no, we got Enzo and Big Cass, and they get over, and Blake and Murphy showed up on the Tron to, I guess now all of a sudden Blake and Murphy are heels. I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely talk like heels.
Yeah, they're taunting Enzo and Cass. They need to work on their promo work though. I kind of cringe when Blake and Murphy are cutting promos, but God, there's almost no bigger pop in the NXT. But when that music hits for Big Cass and Enzo though, they definitely bring something in. I think.
How you doing?
I mean, the crowd just pops, and and those are two interesting cats, and I think they work better as a tag team because it's hard to see. It's hard to really see at this point either one of them being a solo star. I don't think Enzo Amore is going to ever really be a big solo star. So pairing these two, and with all their catchphrases and everything, it's definitely cool to see these guys possibly getting the next guys up for the tag team titles.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think they deserve it. I think they're one of the biggest acts down there right now as far as the tag team division goes. And the crowd obviously loves them, so why not give them a shot at the tag titles?
We got a promo from a couple of the ladies that lost the Fatal 4-Way last week, and God, I just love Becky Lynch's Irish accent.
Fair enough.
We're doing a podcast, so I'm sorry. CJ Parker, the hippie that everybody loves to hate, comes out, and he was pissed off that he didn't get a wrestle on the TakeOver pay-per-view, so he was going to have a takeover of himself, and he started putting out some police caution tape all over the ring, and all of a sudden we got a little hacking of the feed, and Solomon Crowe makes his debut and does a nice little beatdown of the hippie Parker, and Crowe had a really sweet move bouncing off the rope, kind of like a forearm drop or something. Some kind of shows off some of the unique moves that Crowe has. And what do you think of that debut for Solomon Crowe, Matt?
I thought it was a solid debut. I thought they established him as a fan favorite right off the bat by taking out CJ Parker, and I think the crowd enjoyed it. He definitely has a unique look to him, and I think there's nothing but good things in his future down there.
He's a lot shorter than I thought he'd be, because I've never seen him in the Indies. I never looked at a match that he was in, but he's a lot shorter than I thought he would be. But yeah, he's got a great look and pretty badass punk song there for his theme song too. So, looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the table, because he's definitely one of those independent wrestlers that has a lot of talent. Injuries have just kept him down until they find the right moment and the right gimmick for him. That's why it's taken 2 years for him to get to where he is today. And so we're going to definitely see the best out of Solomon Crowe. And, I think he'll impress, and I can't wait to see more. We get Sasha Banks fresh off of her title win at NXT TakeOver Rival, facing Blue Pants, and Blue Pants has actually got her own graphic and her own theme music now, straight from the clearance rack.
Yeah.
It's amazing how this Blue Pants thing has just taken off into its own thing, and now we've gotten to the point where she's got her own entrances, her own theme music, which is kind of I don't know if that's Big Cass auto-tuned from when he was doing it.
It's totally Big Cass.
Doing the Price is Right. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but Blue Pants, she was only supposed to be a enhancement talent for NXT, and look at this, she's taken over the NXT universe. But obviously, there's no way she's going to go over Sasha Banks because she's the boss. Sasha Banks with a little bit of a bank statement, getting the tap out of Blue Pants. But do you think Blue Pants has a future in NXT?
She's a hell of a talent, Leva Bates.
She came from Shimmer, didn't she?
Shimmer and Shine. I think she's done both. She's very, very good. I wouldn't, if I'm Triple H, I wouldn't overlook her. They brought her back a ton more than I thought they were going to.
I think this is her 4th or 5th appearance.
At least at this point. So I definitely think WWE sees something in her, or they wouldn't keep bringing her back to TV, and they surely wouldn't be giving her her own Tron and music and all that stuff if they didn't think they might have something with her. So
and a blue font on the entrance even.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny just how the simplest things can get over with a great NXT Universe crowd. It's kind of funny how the simplest things the crowd made her, and then Big Cass kind of helped continue to make her, and it just kind of evolved from there, and that's kind of it's like just a funny organic small thing that has turned into, well, she might actually be a regular at NXT now. All right, we go to the main event of NXT, Adrian Neville and Kevin Owens, another dream match with the leaders of the new school. And I tell you what, man, this match delivered, man. There was
it's honestly what I wanted Zayn and Owens to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the story that they wanted to tell at Rival, but the match that Neville and Owens had on Wednesday night was kind of the match I was hoping for Zayn and Owens to have. And hopefully they still will.
Yeah, they will. I think with the Owens and Neville thing, the Owens and Zayn thing was, I think that everything happened so fast. These guys had such a long history together. I think Sami Zayn, they're playing it off as Sami Zayn just wasn't ready and he got steamrolled. Just because of this guy he's been associated with so long. I think that's kind of how they played it off here. And Adrian Neville being more of a WWE veteran now, as you could maybe say. Adrian Neville wasn't phased with the Finn Balor theatrics when he came out. He wasn't. So when he comes into this match with Kevin Owens, he's not phased at the fact that Owens steamrolled Zayn. He's going to be ready because he's been a professional in this company for so long, and I think that's what kind of the story they were kind of telling with the fact that he saw what he's done to Zayn. Zayn didn't see it coming like it did, but Zayn that's kind of his character, the babyface that kind of sometimes can be oblivious to things.
Yeah.
But this match was amazing, and we got This Is Awesome from the crowd, and
it was
a well-deserved This Is Awesome. And then a callback to This Is Awesome. The only time we heard it tonight was for Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, and that was well-deserved too.
Oh, no, absolutely. While I might not have agreed with the finish, it was definitely an awesome match.
The match ended with another pop-up powerbomb to pin, which is definitely I think a good finisher for Owens. It looks brutal, especially when you do it to someone on the apron out there, because that's a hard part of the ring.
Yeah,
and that had to hurt like a bitch when he did it to Sami Zayn. But they play it off with Neville getting stretchered out, so obviously they're playing it off as Kevin Owens is a legit badass that is there to just hurt people to be able to provide for his family. I think that's pretty good. I like what they're doing with Owens so far.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, NXT just continues to deliver week after week. And we're going to switch gears to our last topic of the night, TNA Impact, and another... not many people may know about this, but TNA is kind of delivering too, don't you think?
No, absolutely. I mean, TNA is certainly a sleeper going on right now in the world of wrestling because, a lot of people really aren't giving them the time and respect that they deserve. But I think they've had a really good, solid product since debuting with Destination America. They've done a couple things that made me want to smash my head against the wall. But not nearly as much as they used to do. And I think overall the good that they've done has far outweighed the bad. And
you've been keeping a pulse on the ratings. Have they continued to steadily increase with this past week?
They're bouncing back and forth. The last couple weeks went down, up, down. So it'll be interesting to see what this week's ratings look like. We don't know what the ratings were for this weekend yet. I think we'll probably know sometime Monday afternoon, maybe Tuesday morning.
The show kicked off with a 6-man tag, The Revolution, and against Matt Hardy and the Wolves, obviously playing off of the Jeff Hardy injury, and the Wolves coming to Matt's aid after the beatdown the Revolution gave him the week before. Pretty good 6-man tag. The Wolves are very impressive. I wonder if they will get the WWE call someday, do you think?
Oh, they were on NXT before they went to TNA as a one-shot deal, and they didn't get signed. So WWE's loss is TNA's gain.
I'd say so. I mean, I hate the stupid claw marks on the chest, but okay, whatever.
That's a new thing they just started doing. I don't know. I think it's unique. It definitely stands out. It was probably an idea Jeff gave to him, So
I don't know. But anyways, their performance in the ring says a lot, and they definitely impressed me in this match with Matt. And in the end, Matt and the Wolves got the win, but the Revolution played the old numbers game and beat the hell out of them. Little last call super kick onto Matt Hardy, and then the maybe a little tough love as Abyss choke slams Manic for losing the match. I don't know if that's a boot out of the group, but
I think it was more of a tough love thing than anything. I don't think he's out of the group.
I don't know. The Great Sonata and Koya and Manic, they don't fit the group for me.
Don't get me wrong. I don't like the group at all. I think it's a knockoff of the Wyatt family. Yeah. And I haven't liked it ever since Storm started it and started channeling a discount version of Bray Wyatt. Because I liked James Storm a lot better as the beer drinking redneck.
I know. Me too.
I don't like the Revolution gimmick at all. I'm willing to accept it as what it is, and I don't really it doesn't really bother me on a weekly basis. But I could care if the Revolution disbanded and it was never seen again. I really wouldn't care.
Yeah, I'm. This isn't my first rodeo with TNA, but it's my first one in a while. And of course, I remember America's Most Wanted, and I remember Beer Money. And so I agree. I mean, I kind of like the Revolution if it was just James and Abyss and maybe somebody else that made sense, but not Manic, not Great Sonata, and Koya. He makes Mason Ryan look good. So he was brutal. He was brutal in the 20-man gauntlet. We'll talk about in a minute too. And oh my God, why that guy's got a job? I don't know. We got Ethan Carter and Tyrus being all pissed off because Ken Anderson made his big return, and this led to Tyrus getting his head shaved, which good because it got rid of that stupid shit that was on top of his head.
They should have shaved his beard.
I thought they were gonna go for that. That would have been more personal than that. But Do you think Ethan Carter's going to eventually get the head shave?
You would think that's where they're going. I think eventually it's got to happen. But, I don't know.
I'm a fan of Rockstar Spud, and I'm a big fan of Ken Anderson. I've been a huge fan of his since his WWE days, so it was kind of cool to see him drop that mic again, because, like I said, I've been away for TNA for a while, so I haven't seen much of Ken Anderson's days in TNA outside of maybe a couple here and there's when he was in Aces and Eights, for my viewing, that is. So, he obviously had to get a bigger face to get in there to counteract the big-ass dude in Tyrus, and so the pairing works well for the feud. And I'm liking the feud. I don't hate it. I'm not shaking my head at it. And I think the addition of Kennedy's kind of good. So we go to Al Snow. Man, that guy's jacked for 51, isn't he?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Obviously, this is an angle that was stemming from British Boot Camp, which none of us watch. But a big chunky guy in the name of Grado. I think he's trying to channel Dusty Rhodes for his gimmick, except for the fact that he's wearing a fanny pack. I like the fanny pack because there's a whole. If you search wrestlers with fanny packs, there's a whole bunch of them from the days. It's kind of almost like a joke now, and I kind of like that Grado's got the fanny pack. I think it's kind of funny.
I thought the match was good.
Yeah,
not really knowing a whole lot about Grado, I enjoyed the match. So to me, that was all that really mattered.
And we got, Snow and Grado set it up great last week with the story, and obviously Grado getting the win, and Al Snow raising his arm as a kind of a sign of respect, and then the Beatdown Clan and just goes and beats the shit out of them.
Beatdown Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Hey, Grado can now say he was in the ring with the Beatdown Clan.
It's true.
And all of a sudden, out of the ring comes a new guy, but we know him, Drew Galloway, a.k.a. Drew McIntyre. Of course, they're taping in Scotland, and that's where Galloway is from. And what did you think about seeing Drew Galloway in there, man?
I think he busted open Loki the hard way.
I'm a three-man band!
And I don't know, man, if I'm Loki, I wonder what happened in that locker room after they both got back there.
I don't know if he busted.
Dude,
I don't know.
Have you seen the cut behind his ear?
It didn't look like there was a cut there when he entered the gauntlet match.
Oh, dude, I need to find that picture and send it to you.
Oh, was it the picture they showed on Instagram and showed on the broadcast?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing a picture on the broadcast. They might have.
They showed a picture of the side of his ear.
Okay, yeah. You saw the side of that freaking cut.
Well, you could make it look like that with some makeup.
Why in the hell would you bust open off of a pipe shot? I think the dude was busted open for real.
I did not see a cut when he entered the gauntlet match. I was looking specifically, and I did not see a cut.
I don't know, man.
But he did. That was a good bust open job, though. Fucking Loki was covered in blood, but I don't know. I looked specifically behind his ear there when he entered the ring, and I did not see a cut. So, I don't know. I don't know if that was a legit one.
I don't see why you do something like that, because the camera didn't catch it. The camera did not catch the shot that busted him open. You just saw him in the aisle gushing blood. And I think if you're going to blade and do something like that, you're gonna catch, the incident happened on camera, and they totally didn't catch anything with that on camera, in my opinion. So,
I mean, if it was that bad, there wouldn't be any way he would be competing later on. I don't know. I don't know. He seemed fine in the gauntlet match, so that's why I'm.
He got stitched up and he got sent back to work.
Yeah. We got a knockouts match, Angelina Love against Taryn Terrell. I believe it was a non-title match. Taryn Terrell made a fairly quick work of Angelina, but the main story here is Awesome Kong comes out to confront Taryn, possibly to set up Kong calling her shot to go for the knockout title. And then we get a familiar face, Gail Kim, run into the ring. As we all know, Gail Kim and Austin Kong have had millions of great battles in their TNA time. So it'd be kind of interesting to see where they go. If Kong's going to get a title shot, or if it's going to be Gail Kim and Kong with another feud.
Dude, I'm looking forward to Kong and Gail. Had some amazing matches back in the day, so I'm looking forward to them throwing down again. And you have Taryn Terrell in the mix. Knockouts division's looking great right now. No complaints.
Yeah, it's definitely a fact. Tommy Dreamer comes out to the ring, wants to avenge the pile driver that he ate from Eric Young, challenges him to a fight, and we get a nice little hardcore fight. And Tommy Dreamer said he's going old school. He sure did go old school. He stole somebody's beer again. Well, I guess the guy handed it to him. The guy handed it to him,
yeah.
But shit, those things are $8, man.
Hey, he handed it to him. It's on him. Might be cheaper in Scotland. We don't know.
That's true. Tommy Dreamer busted open. Tommy Dreamer definitely knows how to bleed, and holy shit. Eric Young was biting his eyelid or above his eye, and that caused Dreamer to bleed, and holy crap was his face. He had a crimson mask on, didn't he?
I don't like the whole biting the eyelid thing.
And he was doing it again while he was bloody.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was just like, it's just, that kind of stuff just isn't needed to me. I don't need to see somebody biting somebody's eyelid, especially when they're already bleeding. It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, a little bit. And then, but it was a good hardcore match for what it was worth. And then another pile driver by Eric Young as he gets the win over Tommy Dreamer. I thought it was still fun. Good nostalgia for a hardcore match.
Yeah.
And we saw somebody come back for... how long has Mickie James been gone from TNA?
A couple of years, I think. It feels like it's been a long time.
And is she legitimately with Magnus?
Yes. They legitimately have a kid. They're legitimately a couple. They are engaged to be married. I don't think they're married yet.
No, they're engaged.
Yeah.
I know they're engaged.
Yeah.
Mickie James comes back, returns to TNA Wrestling, says she's glad to be back. She wants to confront Bram for what Bram did to Magnus with the old cue ball shot to the back of the head at the bar. And we almost got to the point where we thought Bram was going to do the cue ball shot on Mickie, but the referee stopped it. Definitely a great story that's building here between Bram and Magnus.
Oh yeah, and you want to see Magnus get his revenge.
Mm.
I know there's a lot of people online that are like super high on Bram. I don't really see it. Like, I don't think he's going to be like some kind of big star of tomorrow or whatever. But I mean, he's fine for what he is. But I don't think he's as big a deal as a lot of people are making him out to be.
How long has he been around in TNA?
About a year.
Mm. Well, definitely a good segment to kind of escalate things, and getting Mickie James involved is definitely going to get some eyes onto that situation. We go to the 20-man over-the-top Battle Royal. This was, as far as Battle Royals go, I figured it is entertaining. Austin Aries and Kenny King starting out, can't go wrong with that. I think a really cool a moment was Chris Melendez, former, I believe he was in the Army, was that correct?
Yeah, Sergeant
in the Army, lost his leg, and so he's got a prosthetic leg and wrestling for Impact Wrestling. I thought that was a very cool moment to see that guy. Was this his debut?
No, he debuted for the company over the summer at the New York tapings when they were still on Spike TV.
Okay.
He had an allegiance with Gunner and Anderson against and who were they messing around with? Yeah, I think it was MVP's guys before they were the BDC, like Kenny Kane and MVP and stuff like that.
We got Sonata spraying Tyrus with some green mist that enabled Anderson to eliminate Sonata and then also take out Tyrus. Excuse me. And basically, nobody else really made an impact no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else made an impact into the match. And then, bam, 3 of the last 5 guys right in a row, all guys from the BDC. Samoa Joe, and then Low Key, and then finally MVP. Basically, EC3 gets knocked out, Anderson gets knocked out, Gunner and Arias get knocked out, and we are left with all 4 members of the BDC against Kurt Angle.
I was so happy Angle didn't run the table here.
Yeah.
Because that would have been so predictable, WWE styles booking. So I was really happy to see Angle didn't overcome 4-on-1 odds and still win. Mm-hmm. So I totally agreed with the finish here.
Yeah, especially the way they were playing it out with Angle talking to Lashley backstage and everything. They were making it seem like Angle was going to be the guy that went over. And, so I'm glad the way it did. Angle did make a little run throughout a couple of guys before. But, of course, the BDC did not leave the ringside area as they should have. And that definitely
helped
came back. Yep. Definitely helped. The BDC helped MVP get the win. So he'll fight Lashley for the title. And obviously a great feud between those two. So Angle will get his turn. I think Angle will get his turn eventually, but I think MVP versus Bobby Lashley at this point is what's best for business.
Sure that.
So that'll wrap up the Impact portion of our show. Finally, let's just take a look at the direction of WrestleMania as after we had Fastlane tonight. So where do you see WrestleMania shaping up at here as we are 5 weeks away from it, Matt?
Ooh, I mean, well, the only things that are quote unquote official right now are Triple H versus Sting and Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I mean, you could definitely speculate on a lot of the other card. You can speculate, probably Ambrose and Bad News again. You can see probably Rusev and Cena in some sort of match again. Probably a tag team rematch again. It's honestly, it's super scary that we probably are just going to see a bunch of rematches from Fastlane at WrestleMania. And to me, that doesn't really feel super special. At least we're going to get Rollins. You definitely think we're going to get Rollins and Orton out of it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, are we stuck with Ziggler versus Bryan?
I don't think we'd
in a
be
match
stuck
that
with
I
it.
really didn't want to begin with.
I don't think we're gonna. I mean, they're gonna put on a hell of a show.
The battle.
I hope it happens.
The battle of the losers, and Vince will give them 5 minutes at the opening of the show.
Oh God, I hope not.
Vince won't even give them enough time to steal the show.
Probably not.
They'll open the show. They'll have a 5-minute match, and Vince will flip a coin for who he wants to win. Because I don't think Vince cares.
I think they're gonna get. I think they'll get 20.
Dude, I would love for them to get 20. I just don't think they're going to.
So you don't think Bray Wyatt and Undertaker, Sting and Triple H, and Reigns and Lesnar is gonna make it a special WrestleMania then?
I think the only match out of the 3 that truly feels special is Triple H and Sting.
Mm-hmm.
The verdict's still out on how Taker's gonna look against Bray. I want him to look great, and hopefully he does. Roman and Brock, as I said, a lot of my excitement for that match doesn't exist without knowing that Brock's re-signed with the company.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 5 weeks to get me excited about WrestleMania. But right now, I will be perfectly honest with you. I'm not super excited for this show.
Well, it didn't help that Fastlane was kind of mediocre tonight. Outside of the end of the the tag match was good, could have been better, but the last 2 matches definitely delivered and saved the show from being a complete tank.
Yeah.
But we'll have to probably get a lot more questions answered after Raw.
I think we're gonna have a lot clearer view of where they're going with WrestleMania after Raw tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to remain to be seen. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to Lost in the Midcard, Episode 5. We have made it through our second pay-per-view now as we keep steam rolling. And I'd like to thank all of you that have subscribed to us on iTunes and also on YouTube. Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. and you'll be able to find our links there. Or you can also do a search for Lost in the Midcard and subscribe to us either on iTunes or YouTube.
Or
and
both.
Also yeah, exactly, or both. Never miss out when we are going to go live, which is typically on a Monday morning. And like to thank SpiderDuck.net for being our host, which enables us to get on iTunes. And Matt, you got anything else to say here before we close up shop?
Basically just we've got 5 weeks till WrestleMania. I know a lot of people are, disappointed about how Fastlane went. I saw a lot of the hashtag cancel WWE Network running again. But, let's try to be optimistic for a change. Wrestling fans, let's give them a couple weeks. Let's see where they're going with things. It's supposed to be the best time of the year to be a wrestling fan. And, being super negative about the product all the time doesn't really do us or them or anybody else any type of favor, because this is supposed to be something that we love and something that we enjoy watching. So let's wait and see where they go before we condemn this as the worst WrestleMania of all time.
I think instead of cancel WWE Network, I think cancel Memphis should have been trending tonight anyways, because they sure didn't help the show at all.
They didn't.
Overall, I thought the show was okay, though. I mean, I am fine with Roman Reigns going over here. It was a great match, and it was a great main event match, and that means, hey, Roman Reigns can produce in a main event. You're going to get two big brawlers between with Lesnar and Reigns, so I'm actually excited for it. I'm excited for the progression of Gold and Stardust, probably the return of Cody Rhodes and all of that. I'm excited for the tag teams because they put on a great show tonight. I'm excited to see Ambrose and Bad News Barrett kind of improve by far. I mean, obviously they didn't get time to do anything tonight, but and kind of improve and proceed on their storyline. So there's a lot of good stuff that's going into WrestleMania. It's not going to be a complete tank. It probably won't be the best ever. That's going to be hard to top. But, I'm very excited to see what direction we go in. We'll probably get a few more questions answered on tomorrow night's Raw. But that is going to be a wrap for Lost in the Midcard Episode 5. Once again, thanks for listening. You can catch Matt on Twitter at RAWF Showtime, and you can catch me on Twitter at JBHuskers. Make sure to tweet us. Make sure to like us on Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes or YouTube. And once again, thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week.